get started, but we'll probably have a little bit more time between the next sessions since we don't move the space. It's the restroom. But I won't have time for a couple people to get up and kind of go through sort of like mock auditions. So we're going to talk a little bit about auditions and our auditions here at Furman and what college auditions look like. And there are a lot of you, I know our seniors, who are going to be looking, staring straight at those pretty soon, or are you probably thinking about them a little bit? So this is kind of some, I taught, I've been at Furman now, this is my third year at Furman, but for a number of years before that, I had a very large studio of high school students, mostly in the state of Kentucky, and I had students auditioning all over Indiana, New Jersey, Cincinnati, Missouri, University of Kentucky, a lot of big music schools. So I've had a lot of experience kind of pushing high school students to do these things that I'm going to encourage you to do as well. So this is one of the pictures you saw earlier. I've got some pictures throughout the day here on our slides too. Our student performance. We're going to talk about nailing your college auditions today. So after you leave here, you should be able to nail all your college auditions. You feel great about it, and you'll probably get full scholarships everywhere. So the first thing, we are at Furman, so I have to kind of give you our dates. So you may want to take a picture of those. So these are going to be our scholarship audition dates, and I understand they are kind of live on our website now too. So all the audition information for this year is current on our website as of just a few days ago, I think. So December 4th, January 22nd, and February 12th, we are audition dates. So when I talk about auditions, I was talking about the 3 P's of audition, because things in groups of 3 are interesting and it's catchy. So my 3 P's are plan, right, which is to me the biggest thing. I'm like a planner. I plan everything, right? And I think that's the biggest way you can set yourself up for success is plan. Then prepare, right? So that's the next step after you've gotten that initial planning work out of the way. And then it's time for audition, right? We're going to perform. So we're going to talk about those 3 things today. So the first part of your process is planning, right? So choosing which schools you want to apply to. Like I said, I just showed you our application audition dates. Getting organized is a big thing. I used to make all of my seniors, and we usually put them started back in the summer before their senior year, actually. Make a big spreadsheet with all the schools they were interested in, all the dates, deadlines, repertoire requirements, everything. So we had it in one place so they could share it with me, and I had their information, they had their information, and we had to go organize that. So many schools require that we submitted an application to the university as well as an application to the music for the music audition. We are the same way. We have a separate application on our website for your music audition outside of your. I know a lot of you do the app with Common App now for admission, right? And those dates can be different. So I think usually the deadlines for admission to the university are before our audition deadlines. And those usually are, you have to do the application within a couple of weeks of when you plan to audition. So that's something to look for at all of your schools. Some schools may require a screening recording to be granted audition. We don't do that here at Furman, but there are a lot of schools that do, especially now like COVID is still kind of a thing, right? We're all wearing masks today. So be aware of that, because you don't want to wait until like a day or two before the deadline and start to do your application and realize, oh, I need a video recording that happened, so let me go in my bathroom and make one. That's probably not going to set you up for success. So, and then the biggest part of planning ahead for me is a lot of people probably apply to multiple schools. You want to avoid audition date conflicts, right, between your preferred schools. A lot of schools are doing audition dates around the same time every year, right? And some, the bigger schools do more audition dates than the smaller schools like us. So you might have more options at a larger university than you would have for our auditions. So kind of figuring out which one works best for you and how you can kind of line this all up is an important part of that planning process as well. So now we're going to prepare, right? So we're going to choose repertoire. So these are big things to consider. What are the school's repertoire requirements, right? Your preferred schools, what are their requirements? Choose repertoire that shows you best. This is a big one to me, because we see people come in sometimes with repertoire that they think will impress us. right? They're trying to do something that's probably beyond the difficulty that they should try to do. And you know, I understand too, as someone who taught high schoolers for a long time, I would occasionally get a really exceptionally talented high schooler, and it's like, wow, I can work on this really fun rep that I never get to work on students with, because this person's really talented. Even though I probably shouldn't give that repertoire to that student. So it's easy for teachers to kind of fall into that trap too. But I talk about something in my studio all the time in terms of technique, in terms of performing, in terms of, I call it the KISS principle. I say keep it simple, stupid, or silly if that makes sense. But keep it simple, right? We want to hear your voice and see kind of the best qualities about you as a performer and your voice. So if you're doing some really hard operatic aria, and you're just stressed about getting the notes out, right? That's probably not going to be the most comfortable audition for you. And it may not show us what we want to hear about your voice. So, you know, that's an indicator. This next one is important too. Do you like the repertoire? So, generally, like, your teachers may give you things that you don't like. And I have this conversation with students from time to time. Because I can tell they don't like it. I spend a lot of time picking out my repertoire, so my students usually really like repertoire I pick out. But occasionally you'll find out there's something that they just don't like. And we'll have a conversation about it. Sometimes I will take it off the table and we'll pick out something else. But sometimes I picked it out for a very important reason, right? To work on some sort of technical issue that they have a problem with, or to challenge them in the way that they haven't been challenged before. So those are all important things that your teachers are probably considering. And so I don't want you to just think you should go after your teacher and be like, well, I hate everything you've chosen for me, let's not work on any of this. But this is your audition and this is your future too, right? So if it's something you really don't like and you're going to use it for college auditions, or it needs to be something you're going to like, because you're going to spend a lot of time working on it, and you're the one that has to go out to these schools and kind of represent your art with this piece. So it's a serious conversation worth having if it's just something you really don't like or really don't feel comfortable with. If you want to put your best foot forward for your audition. Choose your repertoire early, right? The earlier you choose it, the better. Like I said, I started a lot of times with my seniors, like the summer before their senior year. So that by the time we got to audition season, by the time we got to December or January, they really knew the piece, they really felt comfortable with the piece, and maybe they even had some chances to perform. Right? And then, this is a big one too, if you're applying to multiple schools, what requirements are common between your schools? Again, my keep it simple, stupid principle, right? You don't want to pick a different set of pieces for every school, because then you're doing like a full, Bachelor of Music recital by the time you're learning 8, 9 pieces, that's a lot, right? So if you can pick 2 or 3 or 4 pieces, maybe you're not singing the same thing at every school, but you're kind of overlapping a lot so that you're not learning a ton of repertoire. That's also going to make you more comfortable for your auditions. So these are, I know some people think these are boring, but these are great for college auditions, right? Those 24 Italian songs. I still give 24 Italian songs to my students all the time. I've been doing 24 Italian songs since some of you were born. That's the she pointed out to the group. She saw the 04 on my name tag, and she said, I was born in 04 too. And she was like, wait. I was like, you just made me feel really old, because that's when I graduated this year. And then these first book of soprano, baritone, bass, tenor, whatever you identify as, solos are some really great, have some really great choices too. The Hal Leonard art song anthologies, some of those also are really great choices. So, find something that you enjoy, find something that flatters your voice, and find something that can show us some of the best qualities about it. I will be very honest, I had some of my students from my studio in Kentucky who got college scholarships to study voice, who probably shouldn't have gotten college scholarships to study voice. But I knew how to pick out pieces that showed what they did well and didn't show what they didn't do well. So that's something to think about, right? I mean, they worked hard, they were very good, but that's just the way it is. And that scholarships are a good thing, right? We all agree, right? So that's something to keep in mind. All right, another part of preparing. Do not wait until the last minute to memorize the lecture. There's some people laughing already. Is this you? Do you feel this? Do you feel attacked by this, right? I have students in my studio the same way. I'm always like, let's memorize it, let's memorize it, let's memorize, right? Do some research on your composer or your poet so you know a little bit more about the song you're singing, right? The more informed you are about your song, the more that's going to come across in your performance, right? And do know your translation if you're singing something in Italian or French or German, right? Or Russian or Czech or Japanese, whatever. Know what your translation is. We don't recommend Japanese for auditions, probably. But know your translation so you can communicate to us better. We would love to see your personality, right? We get 10 or so minutes with you to hear your pieces and to talk to you. So if you show us some of your personality in your performance, that makes a big impression on us. And do plan and practice some staging for your performance, right? When I was living in New York and doing tons of auditions, I tell my students this all the time. When I really had kind of prepared, and every time I practiced, I walked through my kind of staging or my blocking or kind of whatever I had in my mind to present this character. And then I went into the audition, I was much more likely to do it than if I just had some ideas in my head and hadn't kind of made it part of my physical life, right? So that's always something, you know, if you're not kind of getting it in your body, making it part of your physical life, when you go in the audition, I guarantee you will do this, or you'll like conduct yourself, or you'll do something really awful, right? So, Charlie, we'll see. And this is a good thing to keep in mind too. Do have a dress rehearsal in front of some supportive family and friends, right? Your grandma or your aunt or some friends from school, I bet would be really good cheerleaders for you. And it would give you a chance to just stand in front of somebody and not just in front of the mirror or in your bedroom, right? Singing and kind of practice giving your performance, right? That'll take some of the nerves off on the day of, and you'll feel a little more comfortable doing it if you've done it for somebody before. The more prepared you are, the more confident you feel, right? Alright, so this is kind of moving on to the day of, so part of our perform. Marking piece. Arrive early, right? You don't, the last thing you want to be doing is like get into the school like right before your audition. You're winded, you're anxious because you were like, I'm not going to make it at time. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, you can't calm yourself down to do the rest of it. So the earlier you can kind of arrive and settle yourself, probably the better. Dress professionally, right? We want to see somebody that looks kind of professional. You don't have to, some people I know, like in choir, you wear like black, all black, right? And so people kind of default to that as a performance wardrobe. But that doesn't really show your personality either, right? You don't want to look like a Sicilian widow, right? Even if you wear like a black dress, like a scarf or like a brooch or something, or some jewelry that has some color to it, so that like you see a little like element of personality is probably good, right? Yes?
After on Star Wars ties, is that
on what?
On Star Wars ties.
Star Wars ties? That's a lot of personality. I mean, it wouldn't look to me. The Star Wars tie from you, maybe Dr. Knox is it does make a good conversation piece in the interview or and it is memorable too. One of the reasons I say don't just wear a plain black dress is because it's not memorable, right? Sometimes we'll write in our comments, oh, I really like her girl in the blue dress or something, right? If you got a memorable kind of outfit, it may kind of jog our memory and give us that we see lots of people, we see 50, 60, 80, 100 people sometimes. So having something that kind of makes you a little memorable is helpful sometimes.
If you want to be remembered by.
Yes, you want to be remembered by your Star Wars stuff. If the school provides the opportunity to rehearse with the pianist prior to your audition, take advantage of that. Why wouldn't you, right? Working with a pianist blind can be scary, right? We have great pianists here at Furman, we're very lucky, and they probably play most of the repertoire you bring in, unless you bring in some crazy something. But, if you've got a little bit of time before your auditions, meet with them and rehearse, which I think we usually have built in. We have built into your audition day a short rehearsal. Yes? Okay, great. Schools may have you take placement exams on the day of the audition. I think we've done that in the past too with a theory placement exam. So I think they're getting rid of that this year. Not doing that this year, so that's nice. When I went to Manhattan School of Music for my master's degree, when I showed up for my audition, and I got to the room where I was supposed to audition, they were like, oh, we're running a little behind. why don't you take this diction placement exam now? Here I am, like, worried about my audition, and I'm like trying to like remember IPA, and like my mind's all over the place, and I obviously didn't do well on it, so I had great diction teachers, so it worked out fine, but you know, something to be aware of that might happen at some of your locations. And then we'll do this here. Your audition panel will likely ask you some questions as a way to get to know you better. Usually we ask questions about your kind of background, your school you're coming from, or some of your stage experience, just to get an idea of what you've done, and for us to just get a chance to talk with you. And we usually have a luncheon on audition days too, where you can meet with students or faculty kind of all meet together and get to do that as well. And remember, it's common to have nerves, but your audition panel wants you to succeed. More than any other audition you will ever do, an audition for a degree program, we want you to be good, right? We want to have lots of good students come and join our program. So we're hoping you all just like kill it and knock it out of the park. And it gives us really difficult decisions in terms of scholarships. So that's like the dream world for us. So don't be scared like, oh, I hope they don't hate me, right? That's like the last thing we should worry about. We want you all to be amazing, right? Alright, so this is Centering is there's a book by Dr. Don Green about performance and performing arts. It's really great. He's a performance psychologist who's worked with athletes and musicians. He was a faculty at Juilliard for a number of years. And he teaches this practice of centering. So centering is practice taught by Dr. Don Green. You pick a focus in your performance space, some distance away, not like, please don't pick it right in front of you on the floor, that won't be comfortable for any of us. Where you will channel that extra kind of energy kind of bubbling inside you, right? And then this point should be lower than our normal eye level, so as to prevent us from slipping back into that left brain. That left brain is that super like analytical brain. It's like that note you just said is terrible. Why are you doing? Why did you even bother to show up today? Right? We want to like leave that behind, right? So kind of pick a place out, maybe above our heads. Sometimes it's really uncomfortable if you're staring straight at your panel the entire time, too. Just slightly above our heads, out in front of you, where you can kind of feel like you're channeling that energy. Then take a moment, right? Sometimes students come on and they rush right on, and they're like, I'm here, I'm going to sing, right? Take a, you're probably going to be nervous, your heart's probably going to be beating a little bit faster. Take a second, like, just put your head down, catch your breath, and kind of compose yourself, right? So closing your eyes, listen to breathing just a second. It's crucial for what we do, right? If you're not able to get a good breath to start, that's not going to set you up for success for that first piece or your audition at all. Sometimes we don't get on our breath right away and we're just like lost in the woods, right? We don't want to feel that. So after you connect to your breath, scan for any extra tension. I have one student, we talk about this a lot when she gets nervous. She holds tons of tension in the back of her neck here. And sometimes she even feels like her whole neck is just like rocking up, right? So I've talked to her about just kind of, very subtly, just kind of tilting her head side to side. Even the act of putting your head down, right? Just to kind of release those muscles. Just give yourself a second to think, wait, I don't need this tension. It's going to be okay. Just let it go, right? That can be really, really helpful. And then this is something I encourage my students, this doesn't come from Dr. Green, this comes from Dr. Price, but I encourage my students to do often, is asking themselves 3 questions when they're kind of bringing themselves to focus. Who am I? Where am I? And what does my character want? So you might not be singing something from an opera or a musical, right? But I have my students, even when we're singing an art song, create a whole backstory. Like, who is this person who's singing it? What is it about? Who are they interacting with? Or who is it about? What do they want, right? So that you can create a whole story around that. So that even though it's not from a musical or an opera, you still have a very kind of active story and life to your piece, right? That's what gets it from right here in front of you, so out to your audience, out to us, right? So that's something to keep in mind. And then once you've kind of done that and you're at your centered place, Allow that energy to kind of spin up out through your torso and allow it to kind of flow out of you, just like you're hoping your voice will when you start to sing, right? And you can kind of narrow and focus that and you know, channel. There's no way to get rid of that nervous energy. We all get nervous. I get nervous. But if you can kind of channel that energy and not let it hinder you, right? Use it for your performance. You'll be better off. Yeah. We've got Brent here, he's a wonderful pianist. Let's talk a little bit about working with a pianist. So some things to keep in mind. All your music should be printed double-sided, hole-punched in a binder. You don't want to bring your music into Brent with like a bunch of loose leaf pages that are out of order, and he puts it up on the piano because that's all you've given him, and then the air comes on, and a big gust of air comes through and blows your music off, and he's reading it for the first time because he's never heard the weird Schoenberg aria that you've decided to present to us, because you didn't listen to my keep it simple advice. And then we're all in an uncomfortable position, right? Alright. Music should also not have sheet protectors and should not have staples. So we have weird lights on our stage in our recital hall, and if you've got those sheet protectors and there's like a big glare on it, it's going to be hard for him to see notes. It's going to be hard for him to see the notes that are written on the page. It's going to be hard for him to see notes that hopefully you've written in that say like, hey, I want to slow down here, or hey, I want to breathe here, right? So, you know, I know it's nice when you feel like special if you've got sheet protectors in your pocket, but it's not very good. And staples certainly are not, right? We don't want Brent bleeding all over the stage in your audition, right? This is not a very novel way. Make sure that any important tempo changes are marked clearly. You're taking the sheet protectors out of your mouth. Make sure that any important tempo changes are marked clearly. Like I said, we do have a short window that our pianists are able to rehearse with you before, but you know, it's a short window and they see it like once for me. They kind of go through all your pieces with you once. So having that marked in is a good reminder to them and kind of make sure that you're all on the same page. I was at the Metropolitan Opera competition in Colombia a few years ago, watching some singers, and there was a singer who had obviously not clearly marked a cut in her aria, and she sounded unbelievable, and then the pianist didn't understand the cut because it wasn't communicated clearly, and the pianist kept going on, and the singer was in a completely different spot, and they had to stop and restart. The soprano was so rattled after that that she just fell apart. And I think she may have been one of the winners that day that happened. And she still got an encouragement award. She's very talented, but you know, you don't want something like that happening to you. So the more clearly you can communicate to your pianist, the better. This is also very important. When preparing your binder, make sure that nothing's cut off at the top or the bottom of the page. So you might just be concerned with your vocal line, but your pianist is not. There are notes there that they need to be able to see. And if they're not there, then they can't play them for you. So even if all your vocal lines are present, some of the accompaniment can still be cut off, so make sure that's not the case. And if you haven't had a chance to rehearse with your pianist, it is appropriate to demonstrate the tempo by quietly singing the first few measures of the vocal line for your pianist to understand your tempo. Don't go up to Brent and say, this is my tempo, right? That's very offensive. It's very like jarring, and you know, people may be offended by that, so you don't want to kind of get off to that kind of start with your pianist. Also, you're in your head for a second before you start singing. Sometimes you go in and you're nervous and you've got all that anxious energy, you sing it like twice as fast as you wanted to sing it, right? And Brent's like, all right, I've never heard it that fast before, but let's do it, right? And then you can't breathe, you can't remember your words, and everybody's uncomfortable. We're trying to avoid uncomfortable situations on the day of our audition, right? Those are all of them. Alright, so this is a reality now. Like I said, we don't have a streaming video, but more people are submitting auditions via video now. Because of COVID, there are more people requiring video auditions or streaming videos. So these kind of things are important to keep in mind as well. Choose a location with a neutral background that won't be distracting. This is, I don't want to offend anybody, but last year I was judging Nat's videos. And, you know, I know we were all just doing our best, but there was somebody who was in their dorm room, which is, if that's what you gotta do, that's what you gotta do. But the bed was like unmade, and there was like laundry in the background. Like, that was not probably this person's best choice for how to present the video. So keep that in mind. Do not stand in front of windows, right? If you're backlit, that's not a good look for me, that's probably not a good look for any of us, right? That's not what we want. Also, sometimes, depending on the camera you're using, if it's got an autofocus feature, and there's light coming from behind you, it won't focus in. So you'll be blurry like half of the video. It'll be really hard for us to kind of make much out of what he says. And in that same respect, it actually is acoustically sometimes ideal if you're in a room with windows to stand facing the windows, because glass can be a good kind of thing for the sound to bounce off of for your acoustic. Find a location that has a supportive acoustic that is not overly live or not overly dead. This can be like the biggest challenge sometimes, depending on where you're recording, whether it's a school auditorium or your church or kind of feeling out the acoustic. And you might need to play a little bit with the positioning of your microphone or your camera or whatever you're using for sound, and use some sort of acoustic absorber to find the right audio quality. So you don't go out and buy fancy like recording studio equipment, but sometimes a whole bunch of pillows right near your device will help buffer the sound in a really live acoustic and make it a little bit better for you. Dress professionally just as you would for an in-person audition. Right? You don't want to just like show up in your pajamas just because it's a screening video. Right? You want to look just as you would present yourself in your normal audition. And be close enough so that viewers can see your face. I've seen some Matt's videos and audition videos over the last couple of years where the camera's like way out there and the person's like way up here on the stage, and you can like barely make out their face at all. And so, some people have requirements, like we want a full body shot, but some people don't. I usually tell people, unless it requests a full body shot, that from like here up is probably the best. You're close enough that we can see you, and but we're not just seeing your neck up, that would be kind of weird too. But that's kind of about, and that's generally the standard for self-tape. So, I don't know what you all go into, but like acting and music theater, especially if you're doing self-tapes like non-stop now. If you have a subscription, I think you may not even need the subscriptions. To Classical Singer online, a lot of hours into Larson writes regular columns in Classical Singer, you may have seen it before. And she wrote an article on self-tape, so it's really helpful there. So if you just go to Classical Singer and type in self-tapes, you'll probably find that. And then shoot the video in landscape orientation, right? That's what's going to show up better on YouTube or wherever we have to put the video, right? We always hold our phones this way, right? But film this way. It will be better. That's kind of the standard. Make sure to use a separate audio source from the device you use the video if you're able to. I usually, iPhones, if you have an iPhone or a nice camera phone, usually have decent quality to them now, much better than they used to. But sometimes I'll record my video on my iPhone, and I have, I'll show you a couple of things that I recommend for these devices. I have a Zoom audio recorder as well, and so I'll usually like record them at the same time. But one thing you want to keep in mind is if you're going to use some video editing software to combine those together, is to, it seems cheesy, when I say like Hollywood, take one, take two. I do that, right? I go and I say, all right, this is take one, and I clap. Because then when I look at the little, I can line them up, and it saves me a lot of time. I'm not kind of moving my mouth at a different time from when you're hearing me saying it. That doesn't work very well. So if you have the ability to use that, like I said, I'm going to show you some devices in a minute. There are lots of kind of levels of how involved you want to get in sort of equipment. If you're just using phone, because that's all you have, that's probably fine. But if you want to kind of branch out a little bit and try some editing and things together, that's fine. I meant to say in the last slide too, if you're going to record somewhere you're not used to singing and not used to recording in, sometimes that's good to do a rehearsal in that space before and record that so you can see who that was really live or who, like I did a recording in our recital hall earlier this summer with Dr. Hamilton, who's one of our things here as well. And the first day we recorded, I can't use any of those takes because the spotlights were on in there. And it was so bright that my face is so washed out. So the second day that I recorded in there, we just left like the normal overhead lights on, and the lighting was great. But I was so washed out that first day that it's just really not going to be good quality. So I can't use those now. But I had some good singing on that, so you don't want that to happen to you. So take my advice if I didn't take myself. Use a tripod for stability if you can. iPhone and iPad tripods are really cheap on Amazon. You get one for like $20 or less now. So that's always a good thing to have. Record multiple takes on multiple days, so you have options to choose from. Some days you may be in better voices than another day, so you're able to be in a space to record in a couple of different days. Record this a couple of times, so you have some options. Trim videos to avoid any footage of you. We don't want to see like pressing record on the camera and see your your forehead and you like walking into place, right? It's easy on a lot of smartphones to just like trim that video, right? Or you put it into video editing software to trim that. So make sure you do that. And film each selection separately to avoid large file sizes, right? You don't want to go and upload your video and it takes like 2 days to do. When I auditioned for doctoral programs, one of the places I auditioned was Boston University, and they required a full recital plus like an opera aria and an oratorio aria, and they wanted recordings of all of that. They wanted your full audition, even though I was going to audition in person, via video as well. And it took forever on my like slow home internet to upload all those. It took me like 2 days. I would like leave to go to work or go to bed at night, and I would hit like, let's upload these 4 videos. Maybe by the time I wake up, they'll be loaded. So if you can keep those file sizes separately, that helps avoid that issue. All right, so here's what I was going to talk about: some tech for recording. If you're using an iPhone or a smartphone, Movie Pro is a really great app because it offers high-resolution video and uncompressed audio. It doesn't come compressed for sound, so that's something to keep in mind. This is Zoom H1N. I think that's still the current model. That's the one I have. But they're always kind of coming out with new models. It's a high-quality visual audio recorder. That's really great to use. That's what I was talking before the other day about how when I was a student here, this makes them even older. I used to have a tape recorder that I took to my lessons to record my lessons, right? Now we can do it on our phones or on a digital recorder like this. But we just put power, we just got electricity. In all of the practice rooms a couple of weeks ago, because there were not power outlets in most of the practice rooms. And I was always having to go through batteries on my tape recorder because I couldn't plug it into a wall in the practice room to use. So. But we've got electricity now. A lot of people use the Blue Yeti USB mics. You may have some sort of USB mic that you've purchased over the last year or so too. Those are usually lower $100 online. You look for those. Those are great because they're better than just the mic that comes in your computer usually, and they allow you to adjust the gain. Right? So if you go to sing a high note and there's a lot of feedback on your recording, you can knock that gain down a little bit so it doesn't overwhelm the mic so much when you sing that or when you sing loud or anything like that. And if you want to go beyond that, USB mics are better than it says in the computer mic. But if you want an XLR mic that gets even kind of clearer audio, clearer quality, it does require an audio interface to use one of those, so you can't just buy a mic and use that with your computer. You need some sort of audio interface that the mic plugs into and then plugs into your computer as well. But the Shure mics are really good. Some of them are a little over $100, some of them are like $500 or $600. It depends on how long. I can't afford a $600 mic, but I have a nice XLR mic that I got recently. That's the good one that I like. And a good audio interface. I talked to one of my friends this week who does a lot of virtual concert production and music videos for opera singers and Broadway stars. She does a lot of editing of videos and using them. And she uses the Focusrite Scarlett. I put that on my wish list as the audio interface that I want to get from my equipment. They're really nice. And you can get one that has multiple ports too. So she actually uses 2 microphones when she records, so she can get kind of more balanced sense of what's happening. And then ring light, those those are pretty cheap now. That can help with like lighting issues in your room, depending on where you're recording. Or lighting boxes too. They're not very much more. So if you're really into, and you feel like you're going to be making a lot of music videos or something from home, like those lighting boxes are pretty portable and pretty cheap. And like I said, the iPhone and iPad tripods are really cheap and very helpful. So you don't have to prop your phone up and you get the right angle. Right? They're very adjustable. Very easy to use. All right. So now it's time to practice what we've talked about. So Charlie, you want to go first, and maybe we'll just do one piece with you today. You know, in your auditions, we'll usually hear your two pieces, but we're not going to talk about your singing. This is just about how you're kind of presenting yourself. So we're going to have you can come in, like coming into your audition, and then you can go over and meet with Brent and share your music with him. And then we'll kind of walk through your process and see what you do that comes across well, and maybe what you want to think about doing better. Right? What's that? Sheep peppers, I don't want to insult their feet. It's fine. Yeah.
And it's like walking.
Sure, just kind of go in that. You don't have to leave the room. I used to, when I taught voice topics here, I used to make them like leave the room, and then half the time the door would be locked. But come in like you're coming where we're all on your audition. When I auditioned at Indiana University, there were like 30-something voice teachers there. I walked in and it was like a full recital hall of people. It's like totally thrown off guard. We don't have that much. Charlie, if you feel comfortable, I think it's okay to take off your mask as well.
Okay.
We're not going to talk. This is an audition. The panel doesn't get clapped. Yeah, it's yourself. Yes, sure.
I am Travis Anderson, and I'll be singing Dragon's by Frederick Key. We'll try. Good. So at this point in your audition, if you're auditioning here, we've asked you maybe what else you are offering.
It's good to remember that. I've been in auditions before where I sang my first aria and I was so focused, and then the panel asked me what else I brought, and I couldn't remember it. So, you know, I don't write it underhand, or I have brought in rough lists before to hand to them, just so I help away that issue. It's up to you. But you know, maybe think through that before you go in, so it doesn't catch you off guard. That's very beautiful. Really beautiful job. And that is a perfect piece for college audition, right? It shows your voice well, it shows the greatest qualities about your voice. And it's something I give to a lot of students here. Furman, I sang it on my doctoral side, actually. Those are beautiful songs. But it's simple and it shows the great quality about you. You don't need to conduct yourself. I mean, I know we're not talking about this, but you really don't. I have a couple students that do that, and I guarantee you, I tell them all the time. When I get them to stop doing that, and I have somebody who I tell them to stop doing it, they stop doing it for like 2 notes, and then it's like right back there. I'm sitting here, it's a new process. Stop. And somebody gets sick. But oftentimes when they stop using their hand like that, it gets better, not worse, right? It's in front of me. Yeah, so you have your mask on when you walk in, which is, you know, fine. It's good to, like, smile and acknowledge your panel, or your large panel here, as you come in. So I'm sure you were smiling underneath the mask and we just didn't see it. But that just kind of gives us a friendly, good first impression. You can smile and say, hello, good morning, how are you, whatever. And then walk over to Brent and say, good morning, Brent, how are you? Here's my music. And you did a good job, I think, in demonstrating your tempo. I think you could have taken more time too when you kind of went in front of the piano and settled in and just calm yourself before you start writing. You won't get offended by that. You just take a moment. Actually, we'll probably appreciate it if you know you're really being thoughtful about your writing. But I thought otherwise it's great. That's good. Good audition. So if this was one of your pieces, what would your other option maybe be?
So right now it's Steve Legend, but I'm also looking at maybe a German piece, because I think Steve Legend piece a bit much. If it's that compared to Fragrance, I think I can get my German piece that everyone knows.
I will say this, Fragrance is great to start with because it's nice and it's short and right? That if, especially if you have like 3 things on your rep list, it gives us then a choice of what we want to do. So if you came in and started with Fragrance, and then we saw some I check on your list, it's Italian, it's handle, we would see how your voice moves, maybe that would be a good choice to show us a lot about what you do. But we might say, hey Charlie, we would love to hear some of the seats that I check. We'll like wait when we want you to stop, right? And that's not, you shouldn't be offended by that at all. We're trying to keep auditions on track. We're trying to allow time to talk to you a little bit. So we know if you did the full ABA, it's going to be really long, right? Or we might even say, hey Charlie, do you do ornaments in that last section of the seat that I take? Could we just hear the last section? That might be something that would happen in your audition. So that's good too to keep in mind if you've got an aria like that, that has very kind of clear delineated sections. Sometimes maybe just practice starting from the middle section, or start from that return where you've got your ornaments, and just do that. So that if they ask you that in your audition, hey, you just need to hear part of this and you hear that last half, like you're used to starting from that place, so it doesn't. You know, some people like memorize things straight through and not kind of backwards, forwards, or out of order. And so when you ask them to do just a section, they like their mind is blank, right? So she's nervous. That's something you might want to keep in mind. Yeah.
For the Furman audition,
Yes.
do you know
Sure.
do you want us to bring in our repertoire, like a copy of our repertoire before the judges as well?
No, we don't need to. No. If you want to bring a repertoire list, just so we have something to reference to what you're singing, that would be fine. But you don't need to bring it.
Oftentimes they'll possibly list something on your music application, but if that is changed, then, which it certainly can, it doesn't have to be changed at the very morning of, make sure that we know what you have brought, because it might be already printed on our sheets. We can toss that out, like, no, we're doing this today, so.
What's the verdict on choice, like given choices? Because if,
So we usually, I think it's pretty standard, most people usually allow you to start with whatever you would start with, and then we'll choose from there.
well, so like, since you all have two,
Yeah.
I start with one, I give you all three pieces, and I do one, is that, like, bad, or I give you two choices for the second one, or?
You
Not
don't
if
have
you
to
feel
do
comfortable
that.
singing all three.
You don't have
Don't
to
put
do
one on
that.
there if you don't want to sing it. If you don't want to sing it, then you're only required two. Don't put a third one on there, right? But if you feel equally comfortable and you just want to give us an option to hear different things about your voice, then that's perfectly acceptable.
Can I suggest something?
Sure.
When you introduce yourself, your slate at the very beginning, take time.
You're a little rough.
But it's more than just us hearing your name. There's a benefit to you. You've maybe not been in this room before. And when you speak, it's almost like you're testing the acoustics of that space. So it's beneficial to you as well as the slate to be able to hear your voice and really be clear with your diction. It will help you realize how much you're going to need.
Yeah. Good. Will, you want to sing?
I would love to. I unfortunately did not bring an actual sheet of music.
Oh, no, okay.
On this. I
Yeah.
got tracks on my phone that if there's some kind of place that I can plug it in, I guess it could work. If not,
No,
I've got two pieces. I've got Pierre from Tasha Pierre, Great One in 1812, and I've got the call by Nicholas.
I
Oh, we
don't
have that in my studio.
I don't know. I don't remember the call.
In both ways, like, there's no singing, but the call. That's
Hi, Miss Knox. How are you? I'll see you Monday.
From the furthest.
probably us two version of this.
I would feel about an hour. Okay.
All right, call's short, so that's good. We're all set. I'm out of breath.
Make eye contact with us.
Hi, my name is Will Jordan, and I'll be singing the call by Ray Fun Williams. Oh,
On my way, I choose my life, such a way as gives us breath, such a truth as ends the strife, such a life as giveth on my life, my peace, my strength, such
Beautiful, perfect piece for you, perfect for the audition. What would your other piece maybe be?
Potentially, if you're looking for different, contrasting languages, maybe just do IVF, IVF, something like that.
Great.
If not, maybe something just would be a bit more advanced, like field or something like that.
Great. Yeah. Awesome. Those are great choices, and that should go really, really well. This song in particular, I did these on my master's, so I did the Antoine this Easter actually too. So put off doing Antoine all weekend. So hard. I lose lots of sleep about that. But this is perfect for you. The biggest thing with this, right? What's the most difficult thing about this piece?
I think it's just maintaining vocal support, keeping things,
And breath, right? The phrases feel like really long sometimes, right? So you took some time, but I think when we're nervous, our perception of time is really off, right?
Yeah.
So he put his head down and did kind of still himself, but it was 3 seconds, right? It probably felt like 30 seconds. We were like, have I done this too long, right? Whatever you feel in that moment is right, you could probably double at least and be fine with. So, especially if your heart's beating and you feel like you're a little your breath is, you want to really still your breath. Don't be afraid to take some, a couple more seconds to do that. But I thought that was really, really beautiful. Very, very good. Yeah, just say hi to us when you walk in the room. Don't be shy to do that. That'll be great. Yeah, that's a great audition. Yeah.
I have one suggestion,
Yeah.
if you will. I think you could look out and up a fraction more. I felt like you were singing just to the front row. And so you want to use the entire space that you can. And it made it look a little bit more introspective, which kind of this kind of music is. But I still think you can bring it to your audience a little bit more. Great, again, nicely done.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you.